that bad. Man, 70 degrees over there. I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is nasty. Just nasty. I don't know where Ben's at, but well, if he makes it, he'll make it. But anyhow, we're going live now. It says live earlier, but we're live for real now, for shizzle.
Oh shit.
Go for it.
So what you still just shoeing horses and just making a living? What the hell you doing down there in Dakota?
Yeah, shoeing horses, day thugging, really getting into some amateur tattoo art, just really trying to stay well rounded.
Get your application out to the real world.
That's right. Yeah. But no, mostly just shoeing horses. Yeah, that's kept me pretty busy so far.
Yeah, I hear that amateur tattoo art doesn't pay the greatest. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's the word on the streets.
Right. Well,
there you go.
But
you getting any outside horses road, or you just kind of busy shoeing?
I've taken a couple in since I've been down here, but it started raining so much that I just turned horses away. I was like, it rains every day right now. I don't really have anywhere to ride. I do have a covered arena, but it requires getting wet between here and there.
So everything's just soggy.
Okay, the covered arena is a ways from the house, in my defense.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I can't blame you. That's man, I've never lived anywhere where it rains a whole lot, so I don't understand that feeling of just. It seems I could see how people up in Portland and Seattle, they have like some of the highest suicide rates even before Antifa took over. I can't imagine what it's like now. How many of those Antifa fucks do you think are suicidal? Because they don't seem healthy.
Oh, there's got to be a very, very large number. I'd say at least 75% of them.
Yeah, and that's the QAnon people are just about as crazy, but I don't think they're suicidal though.
Yeah,
homicidal maybe.
You ever see a list of like all their mug shots after they arrest a bunch of them? There's not like a quote unquote normal looking one out of all of them. They're just
no.
Wow. I hate to judge anybody, but goodness.
Yeah. And then like that Kenosha kid, like I don't approve of that guy being anywhere near that whole situation. But when you see the guys that he took out, I mean, it's hard to be mad at him.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of just want to maybe give him a little fist bump there, like you probably did the world of justice, even though you.
Well, really it's kind of like where you give him a fist bump as he's going to prison, like, yeah, dude, you're probably gonna get raped, but that was, you did the world a service there. I mean, I don't know, it's wild. Hey, it's I think we've officially hit peak simulation theory, though. You guys want to entertain? You want me to entertain you on this idea?
Go ahead.
Shoot.
We've got the Republican Party backing a trans woman for governor of California. I think the culture war is lost. I think you just chalk that up in the lost column. The simulation is complete.
It's done.
It is now made full circle.
Wow.
Yeah, you got the party of that fought gay marriage tooth and nail. They had the transgender bathroom bills. They had still going the transgender sporting bills that they got in all these states, but yeah, but they're supporting Caitlyn Jenner for governor of California, which, in their defense, that person probably better than Gavin Newsom.
I mean,
that's but
it's still technically a guy, if you wanted to really get technical.
I don't know. Did he get that thing lopped off or no?
I don't know. Give him 2 Viagra and find out.
Yeah, there you go. I wish this podcast was sponsored by Roman Blue Chew or something. We go right into an ad read for that. But no, like, do you wonder? I always wonder, like, if does he like dry it out like rawhide and just like keep it on a keychain when it's after the surgery, or how's that work? Or do they repurpose it to make
he'd probably put it in a glass jar and just whenever somebody comes over, he's like, hey, check it out.
There's like that one bar up in Alaska where they had like the dried toe or something, and they'd put it in a shot, and you had to pay like $20 to take a shot with the toe. Like, this is the same thing with Bruce Jenner's dick.
You don't try dick. Don't try dick.
It's a swizzle. It's a swizzle stick.
No,
what? Yeah, simulation's complete, fellas. The simulation is complete.
Yeah, the world has officially gone to shit.
I know. That's all right. We'll just tell jokes as it all burns down. That's my plan.
Keep punching cows.
That's my plan. I really hope somebody comes up with like a really funny Pride logo so I can sell the shit out of it and try to turn my buddy Tim gay.
I'm honestly, I was thinking about that today, trying to think of what would be a pretty damn good one, and I haven't come up with nothing yet. But
I really want to see what I can get away with before people start reporting me for being like homophobic or transphobic. But because so far I've used the Queers Love Us, the Rootiness Tootiness Queerness podcast in the West. I did a fake Ellen DeGeneres quote, safe space for lesbos of all flavors. And yeah, I got some other ones. I don't really know who are any famous. Oh, I'm gonna do a Jussie Smollett one.
Oh yeah.
A fake Jussie Smollett quote. Like, burning daylight attacked my ears with gayness. I think that's what the quote I'm going to use for his.
Oh shit! What'd you think of the old JBS cyber attack?
I don't know what to think of that yet, because I've seen some theories floating around how it was another market manipulation, which I'm not above thinking. I think that's well within the realm of possibility. I know like either the media or like the Republicans are calling out Russia. It's amazing how they were talking about how Russia wasn't part of the deal when Trump was in office, but now it's a big Russia attack. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right about it. I don't know what that might be, but
I don't necessarily think it's a deal with a foreign country or any political. I think it was a marketing, because the whole thing is like it was cyber attack, but cattle were still being killed and were still there to get killed. Like they were still running physically. They just weren't online. So what happened?
And then I heard something about like on that pipeline hack that they paid the ransom within a couple hours of that thing going offline, and so like they were back online pretty quick, but they didn't get fuel to the southeast or the east coast for like almost a week or some shit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
saw.
like they're saying it might have been a pipeline leak, and they're just like not wanting to come out with that yet. And
Yeah, which
I don't know. So that seems kind of like something like that's going on with the JBS too. But I'm kind of waiting to see some better analysis of it. It's you've got a lot of like the RCAF type people talking like it's a big conspiracy, which I'm not. Like I said, I'm not opposed to that idea.
let's see some.
I'd like to see something. Yeah, I'd like to see something before we delve off into that, because that that shit gets a little that gets a little out of hand if you look at the events of the last year or so.
Yeah.
Shit like that can get out of hand. So
I saw a meme.
I don't know, but there's some. Oh, go
They had
ahead.
a meme on Facebook there. It was something about cyber attackers wanting 10 million in ransom. JBS replied that they'd give them 2 million and they had 3 weeks time to buy out. Old habits die hard.
No shit. Yeah, that's about right. They yeah, that I worked for JBS Five Rivers, and that's an interest. That whole corporate world is that's something else. I'm not a
Yeah,
not a
I had a
fan
buddy
of
of
it.
mine that he worked down there for a little while, not a very long time, and then he worked. I think he was at Cactus for a while too. But
Yeah, Cactus is a little better, but still, it's all corporate. That's once you get that big, I don't know. At some point, like, you just get too big. Like what do you think about all this? All these lawsuits against Facebook and Google and shit. I don't know. I don't see them going anywhere. I wish they would,
no,
but I don't see them going anywhere.
you got the Google and Facebook are in cahoots too far deep with the people in power. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I wish it would. I truly do, but
Yeah.
it ain't.
Yeah. On a good note though, that episode I did with Trey Wasserberger has been getting a lot of downloads.
Yep.
Not quite like Boots level of downloads, but it's been doing well, and I've been trying to share it to some bigger podcasts. I'd like to get him on some bigger shows too, so like kind of spread just spread the word out. I think that's I don't even know if it's a feasible project, but I hope it gets off the ground and gets going, because at least there's somebody trying to do something.
Yeah, they're making waves. I mean, they're like in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Shit, North Platte's only 2 hours from me, and
Yeah.
they're damn sure
It's
reaching out, trying to get some shit done. It's just whether or not they can get it done is all. But there's a lot of people behind them hoping they do. You know, like Trey said,
Yeah.
It's not about taking out the big guys. It's just getting a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think something like this could I mean, it's always the guy that starts anything new is always considered the crazy person until it works, and then everybody else is scrambling to keep up with him. So I think if they can get that thing up and running, I think people be really surprised at how that thing takes off. Like just how the whole, whether it be regional packers, like local packers, or just direct to consumer type stuff. I mean, that is all that shit has exploded in the past year, and I don't see it slowing down. I think people realize that you can go right down the road to a rancher and buy some beef. They're like, hey, I kind of like that. So,
there's two
I think you're going to
places.
see more of that.
There's 2 places right around me here that are within 50 miles, either direction of North Platte or myself, and they're that way. You go straight to the place and go right from them packers, and it's direct to consumer. And those places have just taken off with how it's going. But North Platte being a big enough town, I could see where that deal, if he does get it to take off, it really, really goes. But
oh yeah, it's I mean, it's a good hub right there on I-80. I mean, you can get a pretty decent blend of northern and southern cattle there too.
Yep.
And you're not far from from that southern plains region. I mean, it's a ways, but it's not terribly far.
They still feed a lot of Mexican. I mean, you get a lot of
Montana.
Mexican cattle in that part of the world too, though, and you get a bunch of Canadians come down. Which anymore, that's a questionable act in itself, because one day you might get some furred up, nice, actual looking crossbred commercial Canadian cattle, and then the next load they'll have ears the size of dinner plates. And those cattle they don't survive in Canada. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's they might be from Canada, but they weren't there long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I guess on another small business note, Kelly Martin's got her buttonfly model of jeans out now. I'm wearing a pair of them right now. They're pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Those are awesome jeans.
Yeah,
I've only got one pair, but damn, I like them. So.
Yeah, they're awesome. Kelly's just she's a hell of a gal. I like the shit out of her. So even if they weren't as good at jeans as they are, I'd still probably buy them just because she's cool as shit.
Yeah,
but
I got a
they're
couple
really good.
Pairs that are 2 years old, still wearing them.
Damn.
Hell yeah!
I can't remember the last time I had jeans that lasted 2 years.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
I can't tell you when I've had that.
That pair that I bought from her initially, I wore them every day for a year before they finally just kind of fell apart. But
right.
I mean, it was every single day, and just I'd wash them at the end of the week, put them back on when it was Monday, and just every day for a year like that. And they finally, it's a little over a year, I guess. They finally just kind of fell apart. But that was kind of like my first test on them, just test run, just see how tough these things are.
Even a year's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you figure
so I think
a pair of Wranglers, like old school 13 MWZ Wranglers anymore, and shit, I can't even get 3 months out of those. So
I know what
jeans.
Yeah, so I think if I put them back in regular rotation, I could probably get 2 years out of them. So and it's, I don't know, at a year, if you get a full year out of them, I'd say it's worth the $80,
Yeah. Well, and they're comfortable.
Right.
Shit yeah, they're really comfortable. I don't know. I just, but I don't know. I like Kelly. I like what she stands for. I love that she sends out a pocket Constitution every time she sends out a pair of jeans. And I don't even mind that she's out of stock on the popular sizes all the time. But she's like, I'm not going into debt to make more jeans. So when the money's there, or what I can buy, that's the amount of denim I'm going to buy. I'm not going to go into debt to buy a rail car. So, but the good thing is they last long. So just wait around a couple of weeks. You'll have them back in stock, and there you go.
Yeah, having a pair like them that are comfortable and they last, you can usually get tough, but then you're constantly having stuff that is just uncomfortable as hell. Or you get a pair of jeans that fit real well, and you get a couple months out of them, and you spent $60 and did not get the life out of them.
Yeah, looking at you, Cinch. Cinch jeans fit really well, but they just don't last.
I love Cinch green labels, especially to work, but they don't last.
I don't think Kelly Martin is going to donate money to what is it, anti Second Amendment stuff. So
no,
pretty sure
Kelly Martin's not donating shit to those groups. So
looking at you, Levi's.
Yeah, that pissed me off so much because I mean, the Levi's 501 was the best pair of jeans ever. Bet. I can't spend money on them. I can't do it.
No, I
really.
I wasn't a 501 guy, but I loved Levi's right up until that point.
Yeah,
but I could never rock 501s. I'm too fucking long legged. So the minute they got wet, they was wearing capri pants basically.
Yeah. Like, and this whole deal, like if you're like promoting equality and whatever, like I'll roll my eyes and put up with it. But when you're spending money to restrict my rights, yeah, you can fuck right on off down the road. I'll find someone else.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's worth the extra $30 a pair just to see it go to somebody like Kelly. Like if I gotta, we have a choice of who to give our money to, and I'll choose Kelly Martin over Levi Strauss every day of the week.
If you can come up with a rope guy that makes one that feels about as good as a wax cotton, but will actually hold up to dragging heavy shit on the trailer, I'll spend the money.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. See, I that's the good thing about working in a background and yard. I don't have to worry about one shot wearing out my rope. It's
I broke a basically brand new 3/8 wax cotton. I think I've roped like 6 head with it.
That's
only took one trailer, and I didn't have a choice.
That's a pretty tough deal to snap a wax cotton in general. That's a stout ass rope.
Yeah, they don't take the trailer loading though. Like, I mean, they're kind of like a poly. You can't, if you got one that sits and is real heavy on a trailer, they don't take it very well.
Well, and once they fray, they're done. They fray even a little bit and they're done. But if you can keep them from fraying, like I hate trying to drag shit out of the pin with when I'm roping. I love roping with a wax cotton, but I hate trying to take it out of the pin because you gotta get them up real short. Usually get a run at it and take it wide, just because otherwise, if it gets going around that post, and especially some of the old shitty posts that we have, that thing's done.
Yeah, they're not worth a shit.
I know. And then I guess if you're Dakota down there with a 30-foot rope, you don't mind it too much. They don't cost quite as much. But when you're spending,
if he's buying 60-foot wax cottons, he's probably getting 2 or 3 of them. He's got
well, better than that. Now that I live in the land of acres and just go to the local team roping, ones those 3 steers on and throw them in the dirt, I pick them up and I got a whole stack for free.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. When I in high school, I worked for Servies for a summer, and every time they had the slack, that's all you do. You just go behind the box there and you just pick up used ropes, and some of them boogers would only run 1 or 2 steers, and they just didn't have no money and toss it to the side. And hell yeah, free ropes, we'll take it.
Yeah. And those things don't last long, but hell, if they're free, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I just take them, tie a knot in the end, and put my horn knot on and go to work.
There you go. Yeah,
not in this game. You can't be picky.
No. Yeah, you don't really have that option when you're packing a long rope. They don't typically have many team ropers that just toss a long rope in the dirt on a regular basis. So you get to spend $70 to $100 on a rope, and God, you hope it doesn't break or kink. I had one that spent $80 on it, and I think the first thing I did with it was pull a kef out of the bunk, and it kinked bigger than hell. Right in the middle too.
I used to buy them lap and tap poly nylon blends all the time. Loved them, but you were for like 4 or 5 head, and it never failed. You'd pop a strand in one of them, and then you'd end up lopping 10, 15 feet of it off, and it just they got to be too expensive anymore. I just go buy the old extra soft kings, and you can't ruin them bastards.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have to rope anything real big anymore. So I go with the cowboy cordage, and I like their weighted poly a lot, and then I like wax cotton. But
yeah, I love the wax cotton, but it just if I would had a brain and remembered shit, and chances of like, oh hey, probably should just tie one of my old ratty fucking nylons onto the side of the trailer, life wouldn't be as bad. But
yeah, that's all right. Well, we should have.
That that requires proper preparation. So
Yeah, that's not that's usually not in the handbag of skills for most cow hands. It's usually just like, nah, we're going now. Let's go.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're going up to camp or something, that's a little different story. But like on a day-to-day basis, the preparation is what's first.
Yeah. That's about the way it is on this place. Everything can go to hell in a
Yeah.
handbasket in a hurry. So
Yeah. Did you get everything kept out already, or you got a few stragglers yet?
no, we're done finally. So I think we finished up our last calf was like 8 days ago. So we just got a small little set of lates to brand yet. We'll probably do them next week, and then it's finished shoving shit to grass so we can go and fuck off all summer.
There you go. What's the country look like down your way? Pretty brushy down there, Dakota?
Oh, a lot of creeks, a lot of oak thickets and stuff. And I think basically the biggest change is just like how small the places are down here. Like the biggest outfit that I know of in this county is only like 3,800 acres, something like that.
Oh shit.
So, which would have been like, a trap in New Mexico. So, that's taken a lot of getting used to, like day working and stuff. I'm not arguing with it just because, you show up, you trot around for an hour and get stuff pinned and go to work and that's it. But it's just different. Guys operate different down here. It's looking like I'm, not even going to get to drag a calf this spring just because nobody down here does it. So, oh well.
Oh, no shit.
Well, come north. We're fixing to start all the head and heel brandings. We can get you busy.
Man, so I blew out of Texas and I went to Wyoming to work for a, sure enough, buckaroo outfit. Not going to name which one, but I showed up and, short rope, horn knot, bell leggings, and they were like, hey, you tie off, don't you? And I was like, yep, you bet. Only when I'm alone or when I'm with somebody. And they were like, well, in the branding pen, you're going to have to dally. And I was like, oh, okay. Golly, I didn't have a fingerprint left by the end of that spring. Just but eventually I got to where I could at least like halfway do it.
No,
it takes a minute to.
Now that you're down there, Dakota, you got to ride like a little different type of horse since you're in those smaller circles, not riding such a rock pounder per se.
Well, I mean, down here, everybody wants to raise the next cutter. So, and I ride a lot of cutters anyway. So I just tend to ride a lot of more cut and bred stuff, which is fine, but it's nothing like making those big old circles like out there on the desert or, being on the mountain permit for the summer in Wyoming or, any of that stuff. It's just, and it gets hot, humid and hot real quick. So you got to get around stuff and get it pinned and get it worked before you just can't.
Yeah.
A lot of cattle too, though. Like, from a place that was just like registered and mostly down here, there's ears on everything, even dogs. I mean, it's just part of it.
Well, I've noticed like the biggest difference between puncher to buckaroo is outside of the difference in the saddle trees and the ropes. The biggest thing is just like that mentality. Like the buckaroos, for the most part, at least out here anyways, they don't get in that big of a hurry. But like even back home where I was, where it was still, it wasn't humid, but it still got pretty damn hot. you get shit done as quick as you can before it gets too hot and your cattle don't work.
Well,
And,
that's where
and out here they're
we're
just
at.
like, we'll get to it when we get to it. And well, this is what we got today. And if we don't finish up, we'll finish it up tomorrow. And it's just kind of, there's not that like sense of urgency like back home,
Yeah, when I was growing up, we really never had the sense of urgency because we didn't need it. Like in the summers, I spent it all on the mountain. So 75 was about as hot as it's going to get. But like over here, we're usually catching horses and trotting out at daylight and we're hustling because, well, like today, it's 88 and over here it's been uncommonly humid. So trying to hustle and get shit done, and it's a little different, but like this, the good old sand hills, Nebraska, no matter where you go, the ground's 10 inches deep. So don't see a lot of like light bone cutters and stuff in this country. Everybody kind of rides some good old northern range type horses.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's different in various parts of Texas too. So like I was born and raised down here, and here it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's chaotic, but there's not as much order to it, I guess, than say like in the Panhandle, like a lot more etiquette, a lot more tradition. And down here, it's just like you're crashing through the brush and tearing around. And if you cut somebody off, it ain't the end of the world, and then you get out to like West Texas, it's just like, hey, everybody fan out and just kind of do the best you can. Okay, ready, team, break. Like that's it, But by far and above, my favorite was like the Panhandle. Just a lot of really good, handy guys and a lot of etiquette. And the etiquette's not just there for looks or for the romantic part of it. Like it's there to keep stuff in line so that nothing gets screwed up. I wish more people.
It's not there much anymore in a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places like up in this part of the world. There's a few places like for us, we trot out and everybody, we drop you in a drive and, do shit right for a reason. And then there's other guys that they scatter like, as old Tom Hosen puts it, scatter like quail. And then it never fails. There's always something that gets missed in the gather and but nobody wants to follow the old etiquettes anymore. And
right.
It's a shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah. And it's like we sound like a bunch of get off my lawn type people bitching about it, but it is it's there for a reason, and there's the respect aspect of it, but like you said, the main reason it's there is so the job flows smoothly,
right?
And it gets done the way it's supposed to be, and nobody gets hurt. That's the outside of guy getting bucked off or something, but like minor injuries, you don't want anything more than a minor injury,
right?
Well, like the one thing, talking about Brandon's a little bit ago, you come to see snag and drags. And I remember when I was growing up, if you went to a snag and drag, man, if you were in high school kid, you always rode the green colt at the Brandon to gather on, and then you was basically wrestling the whole time, and you had to work your ass off to even get the ass to rope. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, nothing pisses me off more than to see 60, 70-year-old men wrestling calves, and there'll be a bunch of high schoolers just standing off on the side, leaning against the fence. And then, like, halfway through the Brandon, they'll let them go in and rope calves, and those old guys are still wrestling. It just,
I don't know. And there's, and I guess it's just something I've got to get used to, because back home, if it was your cattle, you don't
rope if they're yours. Yep.
Yeah. And that's a little different out here, I guess. And I don't know. It's just something I got to get used to. That is something. Yeah. Like you worked your way up. You started building the fire. You rode the green colt that you had to plow rain everywhere. And then you flank calves, you wrestle calves, and eventually, if you worked hard enough, somebody'd ask you to go rope a few. And then once you got about 40 years old, maybe they'd let you handle a knife and cut a few calves. It's, it was just there was a set process, and maybe it's a little different just the few places I've been out here, but it's it's just one of those things. Like the guy that had that owned the cattle, he didn't rope. He ran the Brandon. He didn't have time to rope.
Yep. Like for our own personal Brandons, that's the way we are. The guy that's ahead of me, he usually runs an iron. And then if we got capable guys to cut, see, like in this country, everybody splits the bag and stuff.
Yeah.
So some guys are really good at it. Some guys aren't. It don't make no mind to me. But yeah, we try to, if you're a young kid, like if you get asked to rope, that's supposed to be an honor and stuff. But
right,
it doesn't happen much anymore. But then like you go to the head and heel Brandons that are around here, and they get crews of just like 8 or 9 guys, and then everybody ropes, and you're just in a rotation. So it's different strokes for different folks, but I get the point in both sides if you're running a small crew. But I've done it both ways, I guess. So don't try me too much there. But
yeah, there's nothing better to attend than a good head and heel Brandon, especially like when you got the guys that can really throw the fancy vaquero shots, that's usually right off the bat. But if it's my cattle, I just as soon just flat ass them, because it just goes quicker.
Yeah, my deal on them, like I run some of my own cows here. My deal is, if you're gonna brand them and flat ass them, still keep the cows in them, keep them calves settled down. But there's a lot of guys that they can't rope inside cows. Like as far as healing them, there's just not capable enough ropers. But I do love me a good head and heel brand, especially with the right crew.
Yeah, I do too. It's fun. Yeah, and I'll never be like the real handy roper. I like to try every now and then, but like it's just that it's a try. But I like watching those guys that are like sure enough riata men that I just like can just float out those just really 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 fancy turnover loops. It's those are fun to watch.
Yeah, I know a couple people that are that way. My little brother, he can really chunk the twine, but I'm more of I can get him roped, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I've got to be pretty decent with a backhand just because I use it all the time in the feedlot. But like if I had to blow to one, probably gonna need at least 2 loops.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I just don't blow to them anymore. So I got it's almost foreign to me at this point. So I guarantee if like I had to just like had a neighbor cow out or something, I get him caught, but it might take me a minute.
You're gonna turn a foot.
Oh, there's Ben. What's that now?
I said you're gonna turn a foot rod into a pneumonia.
I'll make damn sure he's hot.
Hey man, a foot rod is still the fastest land mammal on this earth. I swear.
Story. Like you were 3-legged a minute ago, now you just hit Mach 9.
Yeah.
Oh no! And then like if you're trying to head and heel him, as soon as you get a head loop on him, all of a sudden his rhythm goes to shit and just drags his feet.
Yep.
And you're lucky to pick up one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, what the hell are you up to, buddy?
Oh, I'm riding fence.
Oh?
I'm actually burning daylight.
Fucking A. Fucking A, right.
No, I got your invite. I really appreciate it. I was like, oh shit, I hope I break that.
Where are you at?
And then I have really shitty service and all that conversation. So Eastern, not in Idaho anymore. So I'm just back on my neighbor's
in
place today. Yeah.
Right on.
So, but yeah, we were sorting out today. This morning it was just hotter than hell. It was like 103, and so we've been going in mornings and evenings, and trying to let them rest in midday. Man, it was gnarly today, but oh well.
So
How close to no shit. We're all just fucking around drinking beer.
Well, if it's any consolation, I was doing that in the middle of the day. So
well, fair enough.
yeah.
How far are you from Canada? Because you must be fairly close.
Yeah, probably. Well, I'm about 13 miles south of Fort Peck, so probably under 200, about 200 miles. So kind of, if you look at a map, straight south of Malta.
You're starting to sound a little Letterkenny-ish.
I'm an accent sponge. Yeah, I was guiding a bunch of guys from Nevada this spring for bear, and I was like, oh shit, I wonder if they know Matt McKinley, because you're in Nevada, ain't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys were all from Elko. They were all sheep outfitters and gold miners, but they were pretty cool guys. I was like, dang, I might have to go to Nevada someday if everybody's like this. Holy shit.
Well, really, once you get outside of Reno and Vegas, Nevada's pretty fucking rad. I mean, it's big, open, not much there, but it's pretty good people.
Oh yeah.
You don't
kind of how Montana is once you get out of Missoula. Oof.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of America in general. Once you get outside the city, as America's pretty fucking rad.
So funny story about Missoula, Montana. They have a bicycle lane in the town there.
Yeah.
My dad. So my uncle graduated from UM with a bachelor degree in college, and we all went out there for it. Mind you, my father, he's just a cowboy down here in Nebraska, Wyoming, like never been in it, see nothing like that. And he's hanging out the window trying to door ding bicyclists in Missoula because they wouldn't get the hell out of the way.
Like a good patriot.
Damn right.
Oh shit! It was.
I always loved watching the band, like the gang of bicycle riders there in Fort Collins. They'd be like waiting to cross the street early in the morning, and of course, ag classes are always first thing in the morning. So it's just nothing, like just one diesel after another, just rolling coal right in the face of all these bicyclists. It was glorious.
Just like the forefathers intended.
Exactly.
Brings a tear to your eye. Just brings a tear to your eye.
It's what them damn colleges get for making all us ag kids have to get up that early to go to class. They know
I know. Like, we want to drink beer and fuck off just like everybody else. Like, we know we're gonna have to get up early. Give us a break already. Like, we know we're gonna have to get up and do that shit early once we graduate. Let us have our time, all right?
So the one consolation is at least you get to roll coal on the fucking cyclist first thing in the morning. Ruin their morning.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. It was terrible.
It was always Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was along the Salmon River for 2 months, and I get out and I'm straight to Missoula. I'm like, anxiety attack. It was awful. And on Memorial Day weekend, I'm like, shit, I'm used to I got my daily routine of driving in a jet boat or riding a mule, and I'm like, oh shit, there's bicyclists, there's hippies, there's
a jet boat or a mule.
There's a lot of hippies.
Yeah, it was a good combo. I kind of like that gig.
I mean, that's a pretty good flex when you're at the bar. My two main modes of transport are mule and jet boat.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, that was used.
Did you get laid?
No, I
mean,
oh shit!
Damn it!
Yeah, I know.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Whenever
well,
back down here, I remember how
I wasn't there late. I wanted to get home. I was like, I need to get out of this college town before I get arrested or something. I don't know.
If he'd have said that would have worked, there'd have been a bunch of single cowboys listening to this, writing that shit down for the bar this weekend.
I've only used it once and on a bartender, so that was kind of less than optimum situation. I think in the right setting, it worked really well. But
feed her enough booze, she'll eventually like it.
I'm always a little bit leery asking the ladies what their social media handles are, because I'm like, there's a bunch of dirtbags that listen to this show. I really don't want me to be the cause of somebody getting creeped on. But
yeah, the next morning they just all of a sudden wake up, check their Facebook, and there's 300 dick pics in their inbox.
I know it. I know. I always give them a hard time about it, but like that always is in the back of my mind. I was like, I really hope they don't end up with a bunch of creepers in their DMs. I really hope, but luckily I've got a good audience, and they haven't done that, so that's good. But there's always I'm sure it'll happen one of these days, but I always worry about that.
Dakota, were you feeling guilty that Ben's still working? Or are you trying to shape shoes right now too?
I was just kind of dinking around right now.
I
didn't know I was being that loud. My bad.
I was like, shit, now we got two people that are making me look bad.
Well, I mean, I'm still ready to roll. Shoe box here, stands right there. There's a whole pile of shoes up there behind the beer. So, yeah. I mean, we could roll one in here right now.
Hell yeah. That'd be a first, I think. I mean, I've done a lot of feedlot work and recorded at the same time, but I don't think we've ever had a horse being shod live on there. So I mean,
is this gonna
be
like,
something too?
You can do it right though, Matt. Just be like one of them Dale Brisby videos on how to shoe a horse, and as Dakota's doing it, he's just talking you through it.
Yeah, I could.
I know the guy that did that one for him, Bryce Chapman.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
He seemed like a cool
actually
guy.
Does know what he's talking about.
You could tell in that video I was watching it. He was kind of getting some flustered because he could tell he was kind of a go-getter and was having to slow down.
That goes 90 miles an hour all the time. He just does. But maybe next Thursday we could shoe a Belgian in here.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm game.
They only weigh 2,200 a piece.
Hey man, go big or go home.
That it? Shit.
That's it. They're not that big.
Yeah. just little fillers. Little fellers.
They make me look like a little kid. You don't hold their foot up. They hold you up with their foot.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. That's what size of shoe that wear?
Like a 10.
Jesus. I got two that wear, one wears a size 3 and one wears a 4, and that look like dinner plates to me, just trying to tack on.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything bigger than a 2.
It'd be like a 10 in the front and a 9 in the back or whatever. But those shoes are a half-inch thick.
Do you have to put them in stocks or anything like that? Do you just go at them?
No, these ones are real good. Just stand. I mean, they're pretty broke. We hitch them a lot. There's three wagons and buggies inside the barn right now. Like inside the other barn. We're out in the shop right now.
I got a buddy of mine. He shoots for a bunch of them trail ride places in the Black Hills in South Dakota there. And they run them so much on a big old table, and then just strap down each foot and shit. He just goes at them, but they pay really good, so he takes it. But
I always said if a guy had a set of like mobile stocks down here, you could probably make a pretty good living. But if I have to run something in a set of stocks, I really don't want to shoot it anyway.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and trail rides are a big deal down here. Like, there's one that happens every year that'll have 1,000 horses, going down the road, and it'll stretch out for a few miles, and there's always some hellacious wrecks. But If you know how to tack on a shoe at that deal, you can make you some money.
Yeah, no thanks. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But drink a lot of free beer. I know that.
That was the one thing I always said I'm real fortunate for. I learned how to ride colts and I learned how to shoe. So if I'm ever starving, I could always revert back to shoeing because I can't cuss the colt starting because I still do it. But
right.
I kid kudos to you guys that can shoe for a living because I gotta really talk myself into tacking iron on one of mine.
Well, it's funny, like today I stayed here at the house just shoeing all like of my own stuff. And I thought Sarah was gonna have to pull a gun on me to get me out of the house to go shoe. Like it was gonna take an act of Congress. And finally, like I get all mad, like, fine. And she's like, if this had been somebody paying you, you'd have been there an hour ago. And I was like, damn, you got a point. But maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Hey, I've always been told that you want to know how good a shooter you have, go look and see how shitty his own personal horse's feet are. Because if he's worth his weight in gold, his horse's feet ain't getting done.
Oh, dude, I had one out here that was just, man, it was bad. Like I thought I was going to have to take the loppers to him at first. He's standing on iron now. Looks a hell of a lot better. But I was like, golly, I got to stay on top of that shit a little better. Hey, mechanics' cars always break down. Horse shooters don't shoe their own horses. It's just part of it.
It's just a circle of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same way with riding colts though, because like when all my shit, I'll show up riding one of my personal horses and I'll have a bronc ride and a half and ride a complete shitter. You ride the nice one, like, oh, where'd you get that one? Oh, he goes back to his owner next week. Like,
yeah,
right. That's the same with me. Like, turn out some, they're pretty good horses. And then I go day work and I got a colt that I've, just kept on the back burner for, I don't know, he's 4 now. So the past 2 years and try to ride him. And they're like, how old's that horse? They'll be like, 2 years ago. Start laughing like,
you're doing better.
Don't judge me. They're like, no, you're all right. We know.
I had one. I bought him as a 4-year-old, and I finally got to get some consistent riding on him by the time he was 7. Because he just kept getting put on the burner because I couldn't say no. Every time I'd get a colt and I'd get some time, I'm like, sweet, I can go to riding this booger. I'd get 5 or 6 colts, and I was like, shit, I can't say no to money. So he'd just get back out on the meadow, and finally his like coming 7-year-old year, I was like, I probably should start riding this son of a bitch and do something with him.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're dealing with a 7-year-old,
man. It's because the money is all there.
Yeah. Oh, people are asking you to show up to a Brandon and your Jihan, this 7-year-old snaffle bitter. But it's like, how many rides you got on him? I was like, no, 30 in the last 3 years. Like,
right, yeah.
Well, speaking of snaffle bits, guys, you're gonna like this one. I don't know if you've heard it. I've advertised it a little bit, but for the Patreon giveaway in June, we're gonna give it away on the 4th. But Matt Wilson's gonna make a Merca snaffle bit.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, and that's what we're giving away. You gotta sign up at the $5 level or more, and but yeah, it's
I gotta look and see how much money you take from me every week then or month, Matt.
I told him I said just make it Merca as fuck. Other than that, I don't know. I said just I want to see what he comes up with.
I bet
it's gonna be badass though.
Beat you down. I thought that was really cool that you gave Boots your old Vaquero on the T-Rex bit.
Yeah, I'm glad he liked it. I'm glad he's gonna use it.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a cool guy. Like,
oh yeah, that'd be one guy that like anybody that's cowboyed for a living would want to sit down and just shoot the shit with him for an hour.
Yeah, that's just cool country there.
It really is. I enjoyed driving down there through that because it's just right there on the, most of the way down there I was in Oklahoma, but just 2 or 3 miles off the state line. But it's just really neat country. Kind of a lot of rolling hills, a lot of brush, and it is neat.
See, I've never been down that far. I've never been in Texas, but well, I guess one night we got drunk at Panhandle and ended up in Stratford. So I was like 10 miles into Texas or some shit.
Yeah.
That's as far south as I've ever gotten.
It's neat country, and it's that 4.6s is an impressive place. But it's funny who you can always tell, or I could tell from when I was, when I mentioned that I was going down to the 4.6s to talk to Boots. There was 2 reactions from people in the cowboy world. It was people like, "Oh, I can't believe you're going down to the 6s," and then there's like the working cowboys were like, "Oh, I can't believe you're talking to Boots." Like, the people that are like working cowboys are like, "Heck yeah, you're going to talk to Boots," and then like people that are kind of in the cowboy world but they're not working guys are like, "Yeah, the 4.6 is going to be awesome," which they both were awesome. 6s is fucking cool, but the 6s will be there for a while. Boots won't. I mean, at one point, Boots gonna be gone. And
every time you talk to him,
he introduced me as his friend from Nevada, so that made me feel pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah! Oh, every time you talk to him, you hear his stories and stuff. It's like every year. Before even you were talking to him, you'd see like an article in him in the Western Horseman or something. You just always wonder how many more years can he keep going.
I know it. Well, and like getting to meet him and shake his hand and just watch him in in his natural environment. He still gets around good. He's just sharp as a bell. And just I don't know. It sounds like they're probably going to let him stay on, which, I mean, he's a publicity gold mine.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd be stupid to kick him off the ranch now. They'd just honor the agreement that Miss Ann gave him and said, just let him die there. But I don't, he's just, that is, I truly think that's going to be like a historical character that people talk about for a long, long time. And I am very, very, very fortunate to be able to have these conversations with him. It's pretty damn cool.
Well, and I like that you're like recording all those conversations because it's literally like recording oral history, Like there's never going to be a guy that you could talk to that has seen that much, like that much change in the rancho world. I was like,
oh, I know it. There's I don't think there's a couple of guys I've been told about that are from that era, but haven't necessarily stayed at it like Boots has, because nobody has. But I'm gonna have Mackie Hedges on the show here in the near future. The guy Last Buckaroo, confirmed. He'll be on the show. He told me I had to read Last Buckaroo first before he would come on the show. I talked to him on the phone for close to an hour. That's a cool guy too.
Dude, I shit you not. I used to be a bookworm, but I'm not anymore. But that Last Buckaroo, I've read that book probably 8 times. And
that is such a good book.
You start reading it, you just I can sit and just read that some bitch. But the second one, the Shadow of the Wind, that's told vice versa to Dean. Oh yeah, dude, it's just as good.
I'm started on that one, and once I finish that, then I'll have him on the show. But I figure if I gotta read both of them, and so I can do it justice when he comes on the show. But I think that one might be another one where I can have him on recurring. And kind of make a series out of it. Which that's
anytime anybody asks me about any books to read, that's like the first one I tell them, go read Last Buckaroo if you haven't.
And then like when you read the foreword that he put in there, and really what he's doing like is something that I could do with Boots later on down the road.
Yep.
Because he was telling all these stories from the point of Tap McCoy, who was a real guy. And you read the foreword on Shadow of the Wind, and that guy was 90 years old when Last Buckaroo was published. So it's kind of the same type of deal. So I'm gonna ask him about that, but I'm excited about that. And Mackie Hedge is a badass. I've been visiting with him on Facebook. I talked to him on the phone for about an hour, and but yeah, as soon as I get through Shadow of the Wind, we'll set it up. And he only lives up in Winnemucca, so I might just jam up there, and
hell yeah.
I can get it set up with microphones and everything, and record it in person. That'd be cool.
He'd be a cool guy to meet. I bet he'd be a lot of fun to just, like I said, he'd be another Boots just to sit down and drink coffee and just listen to the stories.
I'd like to get a bull session with my dad and Boots and a couple of other old guys, and just have them tell old war stories.
See, what'd be cool about something like that is if you had like Boots, and then he was able to get like a Glenn Shelley or somebody like that.
Yeah, or Lynn Babb or something like that.
Somebody like that, yeah. That just let them go and just talk, didn't just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, I say I'd like to get and then like kind of the generation below them, like Scott Halls and like that, get a bunch like Scott Hall and Matt Wilson and a couple others, and get them on a bull session. And that's really the cool thing about this, the bull session, is that there's so many good stories in the cowboy world. And it's hard to just draw them out of somebody, but if you get a little bit of beer flowing and you just get to shooting the shit, then somebody will remember this story about this horse, or that one time we were crossing this river, or whatever. There's just something will spark a memory, and you get some fucking epic stories out of that.
Oh yeah, and there's a guy, Jim Mabe is his name. My buddy Chase Thrall that lives out there in Nevada, his wife, that's her dad, and Jim's one of my favorite guys. He grew up around Glenn Shelley and worked for Merlin Root when Jim was just a youngin'.
Yeah,
and he always talks about Merlin telling them boys he'd go over the hill and tell them to get that old cow helling down the fence. And then boys being right out of high school thought it was all about how Merlin took his dallies, because whenever he'd take his turns, it was smoking the horn so bad.
And
he always was packing beef liver and was running that liver down that riata, so that way he could have it fresh and smoke the horn on them boys. And they always thought it was something special about how he took his turns.
That's funny. That's awesome. No, my dad, like he punched cows down in the Oklahoma Panhandle and like Western Kansas, and he was kind of on some of the early days of the feedlot business down there, and he's got some pretty good stories. Wheat pasture cattle there in the Panhandle, and then going into the feedlot. Did you ever read Hank the Cowdog books? I'm sure you guys did.
Yep.
So John Erickson was a college classmate of my dad's.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been in contact with John Erickson. I'm going to try to get him on at some point. I tried before, and it was kind of like at the beginning of the pandemic, and and I never did hear back from him. But we'd emailed back and forth a little bit. But I'm going to try to get him on too, just because shit. How good was Hank the Cowdog? I mean, let's be honest. That was. I bought a whole bunch of them for my kids, and reading them to them now, it's fun. There's so many jokes that I missed reading them when we were growing up that are so much funnier now.
Oh yeah, no, I probably have 25 of them boogers still that when I was younger. I used to buy them
70 something of them.
Yeah, I haven't even touched the collection, but they're all good. They were always good to read.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't been on John Erickson's place.
Oh, really?
He lives right there between Perryton and Canadian.
Yeah.
And I was there the night his house burned up in the big fire.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just below it. I ran into like 30 heifers that were about to get burned up, and I was just spraying fire and spraying cows and spraying fire and spraying cows, and managed to save him, but his house burned to the ground.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. That was what here like 3-4 years ago.
That would have been 20,
or was that the 2012 fire?
That would have been the spring of 2017.
Okay, yeah. So that was the second round of fire, because 2012 was the real big ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2012.
The ones in 2017
had a bunch of fires.
were the biggest ones.
Yeah, 2017.
Oh, was it? Okay.
2017 was like way bad down south, because they lost a lot of lives of people trying to save livestock down there. But then 2012, like Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Montana, they was all lit up.
Yeah,
most of the year.
Yeah, I my good buddy Clint here a couple of years ago had what did he say? I think he lost like 30 something heifers. Luckily the house didn't get hit. But a couple houses just right down the road burn up. But man, it's something different. Like these forest fires out here are gnarly, but it's those prairie fires, man, they just take off so damn fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh. And they run and run.
Yeah, it don't take any breeze. If you got just the slightest gust, it's about impossible if it gets to get in front of
that one that Clint had was, and it was just the worst possible conditions. It transformer shorted out, and it was in a CRP field, and it's 70-mile-an-hour winds, just about burn out, and then the wind shifted, jumped the road into another CRP field, and it burnt 50,000 acres in 12 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of pictures of them fires down south. Like up here, we never really lost as much. I mean, we lost some livestock in 2012, but it wasn't as bad as like 2017. But we saw there was always a bunch of pictures. I'd seen guys coming up on, just herds of cattle. But I always wondered, because in 2011, South Dakota had them really bad snowstorms and lost like 70-some thousand head. Well, I was up there and had just gone up there and was helping out and was just trotting around. If you found somebody's cow, you just loaded him and took him to the sale barn, and then the brand inspectors kind of worked it out. Yeah. And you'd top into a little gully or something, and there'd be 150 just stacked up, and they just drifted in, and man, that's a weird feeling. Like you can you can ride by a single and stuff, and it still hurts. But like, even though you don't even know who they belong to, you top in and there's just 150 or so laying there dead. Man, even just 50, like it's kind of a hard feeling.
Yeah, you might see 8-9 different brands on them. And
see, that deal was funny. The old timers up there, they blamed the newer generation for worrying too much about their fences. Them old timers.
Oh, really?
The old timers, when you go up there and get their coffee, they'd be in there cussing and saying that was the problem. Is up there, like on them Badlands, they don't want your fences real good. So when them northerns come in, them cattle can just drift with it and just keep going on the fences. But they said they built their fences too well, so all they do is go hunt the low spot and then they'd bury in.
Makes sense, though. I mean, makes sense. Maybe good fences don't make good neighbors.
It gives me a good reason not to fence.
It sounds like it might be cowboy justification, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll run with it.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Yeah. I think that's I don't know if have any idea if that's true, but I want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's wild how I don't know, especially like when you get to listening to how other people make a living, and it's a little different way of life. You know, when you're solely dependent on animals and weather, and hopefully that people make the right decisions in the markets and whatnot, man. Like,
it's different now. Like, you know, I always paid attention and stuff in the business, and always, you know, because it meant something to me anyway. You know, it's all I've ever known. But man, when you get your own cows, holy shit! Like, every day I'm sitting there going, please, Lord, let the calves be $2 when I sell this year. Like,
well, it's funny, like when you get to thinking about all of it, especially if you've been like where you said it, your own cows, or if you've been in a managerial type position, like you realize real quick that keeping the cattle alive is the easy part. It's everything else that is what sucks.
That's what makes this fun whenever you want me to be on the show, because especially like tonight, like Dakota, you know, he's clear south and stuff. It's cool to hear how those guys kind of do stuff differently, and like I said, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, like I said, that's the favorite, my favorite part of it. Like I've interviewed some fairly big name people, and I'm proud of those, but like my favorite conversations are always either a bull session or it's just another cow hand and it's swapping stories. Like that's what makes Boots conversations so fun, is because, and I think that's the reason he keeps doing it, is because I have some of those same stories. I don't have the wealth. I don't have 72 years in the saddle yet. So, and there's a good chance I'm probably not going to. But I still have plenty of years in the saddle, and I've got stories that I can relate, and I think that's, I don't know. I hope maybe that's the only reason he keeps doing it. But
that's 72 years though. That wasn't riding just gentle horses either. Like, he rode some straight up shitters.
I know. I like. We're gonna get into that a little bit more. But I had somebody ask me the other day if he's gonna be a regular spot, and I told him I'll call him on Sundays, and if he answers the phone, I'm recording it. And
right.
And there might not, like, there's been a couple weeks, and I'll probably put them out just because. And it's been like, you know, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And I might just, you know, when I get a couple of those together, I'll string it together and make a full episode. But I think the more you can hear of guys like that, I mean, it's good for our way of life, our business, our everything. I like the fact that we can have that on record is, I think that's important. So if he's going to answer the phone on Sunday, we're going to have a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Rump.
Yeah.
No, you can't go wrong with guys like him. Like I said, that's a guy that he's been on the wagon. He rode rough string when rough string was really a rough string.
But I know it was hard to hear in the episode that I, you know, when I was there in person, because I'm sorely disappointed about that. But yeah, when he's talking about turning the wagon over in the bottom of the Paladuro Canyon, crossing the Canadian River, you know, I mean, and all he did was drop the reins so he could finish rolling a cigarette, and it was a string of ex-bucking horses that were broke to drive but were far from gentle, and he passes the chuck wagon. The cook just tells him to bail and turn it over in the bottom of the river. I was like, that there's not very many people on earth that could say they've witnessed something like that, let alone been part, like been the one in the driver's seat there.
Yeah. Well,
like and even like throughout history, there's just not that many people that can say that. But let alone today, I mean, he's probably
through history. There's a lot of people that wouldn't have lived through something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like if you would imagine, say, 30, 40 years before that, had he done that, they'd probably just kicked him down the road, and he would have had to hoof it back to fucking Amarillo or somewhere,
Yeah. Well, what makes like those so enjoyable for me, like I've rode Colts since I can remember, but with him, it didn't matter. Like when he was doing them, it didn't matter how bred up or nice or gentle they were. None of them were. But always the one he's talking about riding broncs and snapping off some bad ones. And I'm sure Dakota's got horses the same as you or I do, that you've rode one that was just, I mean, miserable. And you're like, yeah, fuck it. He can go to the killers. And there wasn't the such thing as that. Like when Boots was a kid, they just had to keep riding them shitters.
Yeah, well, that was kind of one of the cool things reading that last Buckaroo when they were talking about on the res down in Arizona, and it is ended up 4-footing that old paint like 4 different times before he finally stood still, and that's just what you did. I mean, like but it's also funny on those big ranches because like down there at the Sixes, I've got a bunch of pictures of some of the mares there in the cowboy string, and those horses just on the general open market are going to bring minimum $6,000-$7,000 minimum. Yeah. But every one of them's got a job brand. They don't. It's still kind of an old West outfit, and that's pretty cool. It's being as high profile as they are. You'd think they'd shy away from the job brands, but they don't. Every one of those Sixes horses has a job brand.
Don't they? Doesn't 4 Sixes provide the horses for the World's Greatest Horseman colt deal now?
Yes,
I think so.
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah. The World's Greatest Horseman, or not? Is it the World's Greatest Horseman, or is it the other one? Road to the Horse. There you go. Yeah. That's the one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's cool how they've preserved the old style, to a certain extent, and I hope the new owners will too. I think they will. Kind of looking at who bought it, I don't know. It's still Hollywood though.
Yeah,
bought it, but I don't know. For as ridiculous as Yellowstone is, it's a pretty goddamn good show. So I don't know. It makes me wonder what that thing's gonna turn into, but hopefully they just let them keep it how it is.
Just let them cowboy and make you money and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, at that point, those guys are making so much money. It's just like, hey, don't lose this money, and you're good to go. Like,
yeah. No,
but I don't know. It's
crazy world. Like you see guys like that with their awesome Remudas and stuff. It's cool to see places like that still have really nice horses that specialize in really nice horses.
Yeah.
Like I know some guys out in Nevada that work for some camps there's some ranches that supply horses, and you're not riding good ones. Like
no,
but it's a different mentality too. Like when I was out there at Kiowa, there was, I took a really broke gelding that's seen everything, picked up and all that, and he sold really good. But there was a guy there that he kind of brought they were good looking, big, soggy geldings, but every one of them, I mean, like that morning when they tacked him up for the preview, there was horses blowing up everywhere, just complete and utter chaos. And
well, hell yeah, he's for sale.
Yeah. Like he had this.
Well, he never done that before.
big soggy blue roan horse there that some bitch bounced off my trailer like 3 times throughout the day. I mean, just a bronc. And he let some guy that was wanting to buy him try him out. And that sucker was the last time he bounced off the trailer and just chili whopped this poor Coloradan guy. And this horse runs off down the way and they get him caught. And I was like, so what's he going to cost? He's like, I don't know. He's pretty broke. He just sometimes loses his shit. It's like, I can see that.
Well, like, I mean, Matt, you've been there. You've seen it. When you're rolling in from the north and you're getting right down to the headquarters and there's just horses everywhere. And on both sides of the highway. And you look out there, like, I can't tell you how many times I've almost had a wreck right there in Guthrie because I was staring at horses so hard. Everyone, you're like ready to auction off a body part so you can go get him.
Yeah, it's a good thing those horses are as expensive as they are, because I walked in there knowing I couldn't afford shit.
Yeah. The place I worked for in New Mexico, we did a lot of business with them, and they'd buy bulls off of us, and we'd trade around on heifers with them and stuff. So we were kind of going there back and forth. But every time I went over there, it was no horses. Just leave your wallet at home.
Yeah.
But pretty neat place. Pretty neat.
Yeah, that guy, the guy I worked for in high school, that's how he paid for his bulls. He'd get his bulls out of some gal in North Dakota, and then part payment on them bulls was she'd bring down 2 trailer loads of just trader shit. Like, but that's what us high school kids, we had to ride them colts and get them going, and that was payment on some of them bulls. Like, from everything from 8-year-old studs to just straight up 3-year-old res runners,
just
and
junk.
Yeah,
you bet.
Yeah,
the really good,
the good ones,
the good kind.
the ones that everybody wants.
Yep.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll end that for the main show. We'll if you guys want to hang around a little bit, we'll shoot the shit a little bit more. But TeJay, sign us off, buddy.
Move your ass, folks. You're burning daylight.
Boom.
Boom.
No, the funny thing about that sale was that old boy